We Say What They Can't Radio.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey.
I was acting silly before we started recording, but now they serious. Welcome to part 2 of All Things Women. I'm one of your hosts, Simone S. Gray, and I got my girl Danielle over here.
Hey, Danielle.
Hey. And I'm excited. Welcome to some Me Time Radio. Hey. I want to give a big shout out to We Say What They Can't Radio for giving us opportunities to speak our minds, to come together, to speak, talk about topics. Shout out to We Say What They Can't. Oh, okay, so part 1 of All Things Women was amazing. I actually had the opportunity to sit back and just listen. And I was like, wow, this some pretty dope women. Mm-hmm. Before we started recording, I was like, I'm pretty dope. And I say that with all humility, but you attract who you are, not what you want, but who you are. And I attract some really amazing women in my life. So shout out to me. All right, but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna everyone's gonna introduce themselves. I want you ladies to tell you who you are, what your name is, where we can find you on social media, and we're gonna start with my girl Tawana. Hey, Tawana.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
Good, and you? Good. Glad to be here. My name is Tawana Crawford. I can be found on Instagram at Wana526, and then also on Facebook, just Tawana Crawford on Facebook.
Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Cabria, and you can find me on Instagram, Cabria Thomas 1, and on Facebook, Cabria Thomas 1.
Hey, Cabria.
Hey. Hello, everyone. I'm O'Ray. You can find me at amicable_solutions on IG.
Hey, Ray.
I like that name.
That's my cousin.
That's how I know.
I was telling you, you know all about it.
It's in our family, but it's online. It's in our blood.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shalonda. You can find me on Instagram at ShalondaCMUA.
We got the bar makeup artist over here. So I'm telling you, it's some pretty dope women. Like, God is really good. And I just, okay. Tawana, I want you to just move your mic a little bit. I want to be able for everyone to hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear yourself?
Yes.
You kind of far from.
Yeah.
But Tawana, you're a little.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's still very low. Yeah.
Yeah. I want everybody
Come closer.
You got to get close to it like you don't want to get close to it, but you got to get close to it. If you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
This is a PG-13.
I'm just saying. You got to get like,
Okay, no.
just don't. Yeah, there you go.
All right, let me see. Can you talk to me?
You got to get close too. You're not close enough.
Yeah, I'm afraid of it all.
Why?
Oh.
Oh, she said always.
Always. I like that.
Oh, we're going in another direction.
We turn a little up.
Sorry, mommy.
Remember, we're related.
No, but let me see for real. Don't be scared of it.
You're not going to be able to hear if you don't get close. I'm sorry. If you don't like the word
I'm
close.
a lip smacker, too. So.
That's okay.
All right, I'll be in.
I'm a gum chewer.
We see.
All right. So Danielle did an amazing job facilitating.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And we had
Danielle.
a really, really good time our part 1, so we want to just keep the conversation going. It was some really good energy. We kind of spoke some truths, gave some advice, talked a little bit about our personal experiences, so we want to keep that going kind of in an organic conversation. I guess we can start off with, a question. I want to kind of know a little bit more about how did you learn about sex? Did your parents? We getting into it. We talking about don't put the mic close to your lips and things like that. What was that? What was your conversation like with your family about sex? Was there a conversation? Number 1. Number 2, if there was, what did that look like? And how did that shape your understanding of sex or intimacy? Either or.
Okay. Oh, who we talking
Who going first?
I'll start.
All right.
Because the last thing you said was really intriguing: sex versus intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
With me, there was no conversation. My father's Nigerian, and my mother is, has Caribbean roots, so that is an absolute no-no.
On both sides.
Yes. So, and then they have the audacity to both be Scorpio. So we all know what that.
I'm a Scorpio.
So am I. So yeah. So with that being said, there was no conversation. It was a lot of me finding things out on my own. And it took a while, a long while, to figure out the difference. I actually knew intimacy before I knew sex and had no clue that that's what that was. I just thought it all was one thing. You know, you offer yourself up to someone or they offer themselves up to you, and then you just have that relationship and you define it along the way. So for me, it was a lot of trial and error, which got me into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So
I like the way you moved your eyebrows just now, like trouble.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, when we don't talk about it, like people say their friends teach them, and they'll teach them the wrong way. They'll teach them what they know, which is very limited as well. It's very cultural not to talk about sex. And for women too, we're taught that we're not supposed to enjoy it. Or, from a child, right? It's not really for us. It's for men. So if you enjoying it and you take ownership of your body, then you're leaning towards something else. They're questioning your ability to be a woman. You're labeled as a hoe. Or the younger kids stop. I don't even know if they use that no more. I don't know what else they use now because I'm way behind. But when you're not in tune with yourself, it's like sexual liberation. Like, I think now people are looking at it a different way. We're owning our sexuality and intimacy and taking charge, which some people don't really, respond well to. But I think culturally, we aren't really taught about sex. Like, I know in my household, my parents are from St. Vincent. And it was like, my father would just be like, from a kid, books before boys. Before I could even read, my father would say books before boys. And I'm like, yo, this guy is doing too much. Books before boys, I don't even like them right now, right? Books before boys, and you better not bring no child in this house here. And I'm like, I ain't even kiss nobody yet. Don't nobody even want me. Like, what are you talking about? Don't bring no child in this house. And I'm like, but come on. So I was afraid. But that fear also is not good because you're not able to really understand your power as a woman. And you're understanding your body very well. So culturally, we don't want to talk about it, which is a disservice. Anyone else want to share?
Well, we didn't talk about it in my household. I mean, it was kind of hidden or kind of the way kind of too late for me because I learned from friends. The topic, it was like, we really didn't talk about it. Going to my father trying to get information for him was like you need to talk to the man on the street. I don't know, because maybe he had a Southern background and they just didn't talk about it. So we just didn't talk about it. So I learned
Them
from
16
friends.
kids came from somewhere.
Yeah.
That's how many your
That's
father had
what-
16
kids?
No, his brothers and sisters. Sorry, let me clear that up.
And that's fine too, but I'm like, wow.
Grady was doing something.
Yeah, but it was just a topic.
I think the Caribbean culture and I think the Black culture, I think that a part of that not wanting to talk about it too is also like the religion aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's sinful. It's it's don't do it unless So my mother didn't talk to me about sex. Actually, when I got my period, she was like, "Stay away from boys," and I was like, "Oh God." So every time I had my period, I would stay away from boys. Like, get away from me! I have my period. like it's a curse. I'm telling you,
Or like a plague.
It's funny now, but I was like, move. And then one day my teacher was like, "Well, what's the matter, Simone?" And I was like, "I have my period, and these boys keep wanting to come over here." And she was like, "Oh my God." So, and then like everyone else, I learned about sex from friends, and I actually was the one who wanted to do it last. But the first time I had sex, I did it because my friends did it. And it was horrible.
No comment.
So it was like, oh my God, I could have, what? They's bragging about this?
Word.
I was like, oh God. And then intimacy, I didn't find out until about 2 hours ago? Intimacy for me came very later on in life because I was having sex, but intimacy, there's still different levels of intimacy that I'm still learning about myself with my husband, and just like, wow, this foreplay for 2 weeks is good. But now, But I'm sorry, but yeah. So what was the question?
You touched on something I wanted to touch on. So the concept of like when girls start to have their menstruation and their menses or whatever you want to call it, or their period or that thing, right? People are now, I don't know if it's new, but they're actually having like a rites of passage. So they're having like events for young girls. When that does happen, all of the
This one over here was jumping up and down like, oh, you got your period, yay! And I'm like, you're crazy. I'm over here like doing all types of exorcisms in the bathroom, and you over here celebrating. What is this? Like, nah, I'm okay.
Yeah, but people are reframing it now because now you know, it's associated with so much pain. Number one, you got to wear 100 pairs of tights and granny panties. You got to put a pad to the front and the back, right? So now people are actually celebrating it and having events where women will come around in like a sisterhood, share stories, share experiences, and like a rites of passage. I think it's awesome because we have to reframe that when. Really? We have to reframe that so, you know, young girls don't think that they're being punished. Like you saying you have to stay from boys, period. I get the message, but then it's like almost like isolating yourself, like you did something wrong now.
Yeah.
You know?
That was kind of my experience too. When I first got my period, like my mom was just so irritated and she was just putting all this anger on me. And I was just like, what did I do? Like I just got my period. What am I supposed to do? How do I put the pad on? And before I even had my period, like she would talk to me about sex, but her way of talking to me about it was don't have it. Just don't do it at all. So then when I got my period, she was just like, oh boy, like now this is a whole nother thing that I have to deal with. Like it was a problem. And instead of like teaching me what I need to know, she just kind of made it seem like it was just a big problem, and
She probably was scared.
Extremely scared.
Because
it makes it more real
I'm
now.
scared too. Yeah. I need to know. We both can't be scared. Like
And like, you know about this, I don't. So
what's
what
going
you
on? Like you gotta let me know. So that was my thing, and my mom used to say the same thing. Books before boys, because boys bring babies. That was her.
It's too much.
Yeah. So
they did what they could.
So my whole thing, when I finally had sex, I just kind of wanted to get it over with. Like with my friends, everybody was doing it, and I was just like, okay, let me just get it over with. It's gonna happen. Yeah, that was really my thing. I was like, let me just get this over with, and
see what they talking about.
Yeah, because all my friends, you know, there was just a lot of stuff going on. So I was like, let me just get it over with. Move on.
And that's exactly how I felt. Like, okay, you're the last one. Everyone had sex because I guess it was an orgy back then, which I didn't know was an orgy.
When you found out it was an orgy.
When I think about it now, that was a goddamn orgy.
Yeah.
Like, so we had a hooky party. Everybody's in their room with their boot, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. And then they was like, you're the only one who didn't have sex. And I was like,
do I have to?
And then, you know, I was like, do you want to have sex with me? Like, we've been knowing each other for like, you want to just do it? It didn't really happen like that, but now that I know what I know, I wish I would have just waited.
Yeah.
You know, because
My situation, like I said, I found intimacy first.
yeah, how did that happen? How did that work out?
If you don't mind,
sharing.
Hold on to your seats, because a lot of people don't believe exactly what I say, and I'm gonna give it to you raw. I was 12 years old, and I specifically went to his house for that purpose, to have sex with him, because he, at 15, had so much interest in me as a person. We had conversations. Ironically, he was my sister's best friend's ex-boyfriend. And I was the little sister that just hung around everybody. And even like when I go to my old neighborhood, they're like, "Oh, you were the little shorty," because I have a lot of siblings, and I'm like carry the one. I think I'm number 6 out of 9 or 8 out of somewhere in there. But nevertheless, I am the little sister regardless of where you place me. So I was always that little person hanging around, everybody. And he genuinely, like, there was never ever, because like when I went to him, he was like, "Huh? Are you sure? Is this what you want to do?" And it was a lot of conversation and I'm sitting there like, can we just do this? Like, This is what and I've always been headstrong. Well, I won't say always, but when I got to that point where I was headstrong, I knew what I wanted and I did it. And he and I, 30 years later, are still, he's the godfather to two of my children. We're still very close friends.
Wow.
Wow.
That's deep.
Yeah, that
That's
is.
different too, right?
Different.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Everyone's like story is so unique. Everyone's love story is so interesting. Everyone's like journey to figuring out who they are interesting. And I think that really helps us to, sometimes we wear it as a badge of shame and then we realize it's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Like our experiences. And as we talk to other people, we realize how many people have experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I love like sisterhood. The value of sisterhood. And you know, when I hear women say, you know, I don't get along with women and I don't have any female friends because I don't trust them, I actually feel bad for them.
Yeah.
To some extent, like, wow, you don't have people you can kind of call on and just key with them and talk crap and then, you know, argue and talk shit about your man and then still be with him and they support you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that stuff is like, you know, we all been there. Girl, I can't stand. Hey,
Yeah, that's-
he home. I call you later. He
Right.
home.
It takes a while to get that when you find that one person, because it is. I mean, we've always been pushed to compete.
Yeah.
We've always been pushed to, you got to be better than that one and this one in school and all of that. And there's no room for all of us to kind of be at the top at the same time. So like with me and my best friend, we've been friends since the womb. Her mother was pregnant with her. My mother was pregnant with me. We're 35 years old and, you know, still best friends. But that's the person I can go and just like bug out, like just lose my absolute mind. And she don't think to call the nut house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think like building that intimate relationship first, to be open with that person. Like for me, I knew what intimacy was in a general relationship standpoint from somebody who's not related to you.
Right.
That when I got with my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, we were friends first. So that's the intimacy part that I just wasn't missing. So there was no rush. Maybe been a rush on his part. But again, he just was like, okay, I'll wait. So we were together for like 3 years before there was even an attempt to kind of like, oh, okay, let's kind of take this to another level situation. It was really just, and I was his first, he was mine. And we are still 1-1. Like there was nothing in between before or after that.
That's
Very, very
So,
rare.
and it's funny because a lot of people go, girl, y'all know what you miss. And I'm like, girl, yes, I do. STDs, heartbreak, and baby mamas. Like, I'm all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay. Like, I had a lot of women come to me, girl, but you just don't know. I do, though.
That's right.
I honestly
Let them keep that.
honestly do, because I am a believer, a firm believer in the soul tie situation. Like, I really think what you bring, what people give to you, you bring into other situations.
Right.
So if I don't have to have that going on, and not that everything is perfect and peachy because I'm ready to knock them out, but I know that we can get back to square one because the intimacy level was built first before the physical part. Like I liked him without having to see all of that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And he ain't have all that. He's a
Yeah.
chunky fat boy. So I was like, oh yeah, we real intimate. Like
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Because some people work backwards. Like I know my husband and I are getting to that after being together for so long. We kind of, everything started backwards for us. So we're getting to that friendship, intimacy. Like it's very, like you said, everyone's path is different.
it's a lot of work.
There's no rule
Intimacy
book.
is work. Like
Yeah.
sex is not work. That's not work.
Be vulnerable.
Like,
you have to allow yourself to be.
We
like,
could we
you
could
know,
all sit here right now and get it popping if we felt like it.
Right.
But intimacy is work. Like I have to be interested in the things that you're saying and the things that you're doing and who you are as a person. To have sex, you don't have to be interested.
True.
You have zero amount of like compatibility.
Yeah.
Just it go this way and that's
just a
it.
That's it.
If it fit, it fit. If it don't, keep pushing.
Oh, that's beautiful. No, it's actually very. Daughter's pretty amazing.
But her conversation with me was she sat me there. I remember it vividly. Like we was in my room, it was like sunshine and all that. Like I don't know what her like when she walks to her room, it's like flowers and blossoms and all that stuff. And I'd be like, what? Like why? All of that for what? And she just sat there. She's like, I want to talk to you about sex. I was like, okay. And she's just like, well, you know, your first time, it may or may not hurt. And she came to like this revelation. You can share your revelation or not. And I just was like, you just had like a full epitome about your first time with me. And it's like, wow, like how do you deal with that? And she was like, and it's a choice. You get to do this and you get to that. And so I was like, okay, and I'm going to choose not to until I feel like it. And I'm going to be with a person that's not going to pressure me into having to make that choice if it means keeping you or,
Right.
you leaving. Bye.
Yeah.
I think parents that really screw their lives up make amazing kids. We screwed our lives up. We're like, listen, don't do this. This is what happened. And they're like, you know what? My mother told me blah blah blah, and our horrible experiences produce amazing children. So thank you. Look, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're
She is
welcome.
amazing.
You know.
Yeah, I don't
I'll tell you later.
okay.
Okay,
gonna have to
that's
help me
nice.
with that.
That'll be the show next month.
I know for me, there was no intimacy part. Growing up, hanging out with your friends and stuff, and you have experience like you doing it because everybody else is doing it. I think I was the last one out of my friends to do it and stuff, and it was like really, I didn't like it. But then it was
She's making.
I don't want to know. I don't want to say it again.
just not, into this or whatever. And it was like, really? Everybody's talking about it, posting about it, what? You like, okay, all right, get off of me, But that began me on a downfall, because it was like, once we started to like it was like, I'm gonna hit this one, I'm gonna hit that one, I'm gonna hit this one. I was a little fast, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna have this experience, I'm gonna have that experience. So it wasn't no intimacy, it wasn't no, I don't know, I guess I felt like a dude in a relationship.
Right.
It wasn't really no feeling in it. It was like, okay, girl, no, don't do him, girl. You sharing with your friends and experiences and stuff like that. But it got real serious for me once I got pregnant. So that was different.
I have a question I just thought about, because as women, a lot of times it's focused on our exterior, like what we look like, our size. What would you say is like the most beautiful thing about you? Like what like when you think of beautiful, as it relates to yourself, like what would you say is the most beautiful thing about you?
That's a good question.
That was just about to say that.
Yeah.
That is.
Well, I'll go first.
Yeah.
So I have a coach, and I'm on like this journey of like self-discovery, and one thing that I'm learning that I feel is beautiful about me is my uniqueness. I'm very eccentric, and the thing that I used to be teased about growing up that I didn't like for instance, like I used to be teased about my lips. I love my lips now. People are paying for them. They want them. The thing that I used to be teased about growing up are things that God has really shown me, like, oh my God, these things make me beautiful. Like being different is a beautiful thing. And having full lips. That's what I'll say about myself. With the half horn.
For me, it's my ability to connect. I've always been that go-to amongst my friends and even my family. And even with my own personal challenges, especially with mental health challenges, it was my ability to make certain connections to get me out of certain situations. Able to say, okay, you know what? If I do this here, I may be able to go here and be okay if I don't get there, to see myself say, okay, I'll go over this way. So being able to make connections, whether it's finding resources or just sitting with myself and able to, have conversations with myself and or even helping other people with that same situation, make certain connections within themselves to say, okay, this isn't where I want to be, or I'm okay with being right here, but I'd rather be over there.
That's good.
I mean, for me, it's just like being a chameleon. Like I like to change. I like to change things about myself as far as like hair and all things like that.
Yeah, that
and
color's
comes
cute.
Thank you.
She always has amazing colors.
And like being able to like when I decided not to perm my hair anymore, and be able to do different styles. That's one thing that I can say. I don't ever let someone limit me on what I can do with myself. And I like being 4'11", like small but mighty. So like I used to be teased about being short, and I'm like, that's all you got? Like, is that really
Right.
all you have?
Right.
Like, yes, I'm 4'11". Your point is what? Like, thanks. So
Yeah, my daughter's 4'9" and she's 16, and she tells people I grew deep.
yeah, right.
For me, I think the one thing that I love about myself is really my mindset. And I think I'm still going through this journey of learning how to love myself and gaining more confidence and things of that nature. And I think the one thing I've been noticing about myself is I'm a big problem solver. So if there's something going on, I always find a solution to that problem. So I'll give you guys a quick example. I remember there was one time I was traveling and there were just so many obstacles going on for me to just get to where I need to get to. And I was just like, okay, well, if I can't do it this way, well, what's another way that I can do it? So instead of just giving up and saying, screw it, I can't get there, so I'm going to go back home, I said, no, let me figure out a way of how I'm going to get there. So I know that's one thing I'm really like truly loving about myself is when I see a problem, I'm like, okay, well, we're going to get here. So let me figure out a way of how I'm going to get to that solution. So, yeah.
That's good.
I like that. I like that.
Exactly. And I like the way you change that language from I think to I know.
Yeah, because
Yes.
it's all about what you use, the words that you use.
yeah.
So I have to use positive words and be very productive. So
In affirming language and letting people know this is a exclamation mark, not a question mark.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
When you talked about, you just mentioned affirming yourself, using the affirmations. Because, somewhere along the line, I didn't like me, so I started to love on myself more, but then also speak positive things into my own life. Just to say I'm beautiful, to say I'm gorgeous, to say I love how I am, I love how I carry myself. I'm great. I'm mindful of me, and it's okay to appreciate yourself. It's okay to love on you, because if you don't love yourself, how you expect anybody else to love you? And with the relationships or whatever it is, you gotta love you first, and don't be afraid to put yourself first.
Yeah.
You are first. You are priority. You look into you. Oh, yeah.
I have a question for y'all. So I know we all have those days where we're just like not loving ourselves. How do you guys get over that hump? Because for me, I have those days and I'm just like, you know what, not today.
Yeah.
Not today.
That's a good question, but I want you to go because you didn't go.
Yeah.
And then we're going to answer that.
Okay. So it kind of ties into that too, right? So one of the biggest assets that I have, that I love about myself, is my ability to empathize with other people and pour into other people. And it doesn't take away from me pouring into myself. That's also a part of my self-care, like being able to help people along their journey. As a therapist and a healer, being able to, for people to trust me with their itty-bitty babies in a room for 45 minutes with them not there, and for their child to walk out and they feel light, right? That's like a big thing that I really appreciate about myself. For people to be able to trust me, people to be able to look for me for answers and kind of guide them along their journey. And for me to put myself in people's shoes without having to experience it. Because people share some things with me and I'm like, wow, I could have never experienced that. And I never in my walk in life ever walk in and say, I know what you've been through. I've been on drugs too. I prostituted. My father beat me or molested me and things like that. I can't lie. Neither do I want to, right?
Right.
And it's not like people say, oh, if you haven't been through it, you can't help people. Yeah, you can. That's what empathy is all about.
Right.
Being able to
Absolutely.
put yourself in their shoes. So I love that I have a big heart, and people don't take advantage of that either. That's one thing I do appreciate. Number one, because I'm not having it, number one. Number two, the people that I do extend myself to love and care for me enough to know that I have limits. And I set boundaries with people. So like my big heart is something that I really, really appreciate and love about myself. And when I'm not feeling good about, some days are not good. And especially in the healing profession, people pour into you a lot and it can be very, very challenging. In the human service field, period, in the school, anywhere. And if you're the strong friend too, people pour into you, it can be very draining. So some days when I just don't feel like I could do it, some days I don't. Some days I don't do it. Like I'm taking this mental health day. I'm sitting here watching Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, RuPaul Drag Race, and I'm gonna be in the same spot when you come home. No, I did not cook. I did not even warm anything up, right? But the other days when I feel like I need to get up, I know I get up because I'm. If I don't, then how is my legacy gonna continue? Like as big as that. Like if I don't get up and do this today, I'm gonna miss out on an opportunity to help someone or help someone heal on their journey. So I sometimes I don't do it, and sometimes I push through it because I know doing the work that I do is gonna get better.
Yeah.
One thing that I've learned too is that like with me doing coaching and classing and just really working on myself over the last 3 years, I've been really making Simone a project and working on myself. I understand that there's power in choice, and every decision that I make is a choice, and making a decision is my power. So for me, being a person that does, the old me is very accustomed to doing things according to how I feel. I try to get out of that. If I wake up in a bad mood or if I'm not feeling a certain way, there's something that it stems from somewhere. So I try to check myself, and it's working on yourself is so much work. It's never yield. Like it's a constant,
Never ending.
it's a constant thing. And my mom used to always say like, cause I'd be like, me and my sister like, we grown, I'm grown. She's like, when you grown, you dead. Cause anything that's full grown has died. She said, you're growing. So hearing that as a child, I was like, I'm grown. But it makes so much sense. I'm growing. So it's a constant work. Like I can't stress how it's a daily thing, because I'm in the past, I used to be very moody because things would just happen or feelings would come or like conversations would come, and I would never address things, so I would suppress it. And those things would try to come out at different times as time has passed. So I'm in tune with myself. Like self-awareness is very powerful. It's a very powerful tool, and it's necessary in order for you to live a certain way for yourself. So I'm in tune with myself. And if there's a feeling that makes me, like I'm so in tune with myself that when something is off for me, I ask myself like, what happened? Then I'm like, well, what did you hear? What did they say? Like I try to go back because I don't want those moodiness, suppression feelings to rule my life any further. So I check myself and I talk to myself all the time. And I ask myself questions. So that's how I deal with it.
You have to be okay with sitting in that moment. It's funny because I've done like self-help things too, and they have this thing that you call you sitting in a shitty diaper, right? So you're in a shitty diaper, but how long you gonna sit in a shitty diaper before you take it off and you change it, right? So you know, you as a baby, they in it. They really can't say much, right? Then they're in it and they start crying, they start whining. You trying to figure out all these things and you don't know it yet because you don't smell it yet, and then they start hollering, and then you go, oh, okay, let me check the shitty diaper. Now it's time to change them. So you can sit in your mess, but it's how long you sit in that and how long you allow that to like manifest and grow, and it just eat at you. Just like we refuel our cars, we unplug the television at night to make sure we charge our phones. So we have to do those same things for ourselves, and I find like. Women, we just continuously run. We don't allow ourselves to go on E and take a minute, turn everything off, shut everyone out. It's hard when you have kids. I get that because trust me, I try to do it all the time. It's just like, they're like, Mommy! Like, my son was just screaming, wipe my butt! And I'm like, you need to learn how to wipe it yourself. Like, I'm checked out on you right now. Like, but you know what I'm saying? If you don't have those kind of circumstances, you have the ability to feel okay to check out.
Yeah.
You have to feel, because it's really us feeling okay. Because if you set up a boundary and somebody knows that's your boundary, they won't cross it. Right. But if they don't know that's your boundary, they're going to keep going. You know what I'm saying? They're going to keep doing it. Oh, but you didn't let me know. Like, you didn't tell me. So we have to be okay with no. Like, no is my favorite word. No. With no explanation.
Right.
Like, no. And they go, okay. You know that they want an explanation, but I don't owe you anything. Right. No one owes me anything, and I don't owe them anything. So if I need a minute to kind of check out, you didn't answer your phone. I know.
Right.
I know that.
Too,
and you know that.
Right.
If it was an emergency, I would know if it's an emergency. But you have to be okay with taking time for you and shutting people out just for that moment. Because if you don't do it, it's going to be a shitstorm and it's going to blow up, and then you're going to be blown up at people, and they're going to like, I don't know what is wrong with her. When it was something that was compounding and building and building and building. So you have to first be okay with checking out. Because everybody will be fine. The world will not end, hopefully. The world, I mean, at the rate we're going right now, but the world will not end. It will continue to move. But if you are unable to move in it, it will go on without you.
That's good advice.
I think everybody pretty much said everything that I do. I sit in my shitty diaper. I tell my children, I'm putting on my oxygen mask. That's what they tell you when you're on the plane.
You put
You
yours on
You
first.
put yours on 1st. And I tell my kids, I'm putting on my oxygen mask, and they know not, okay, because they know the next thing is blip, 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 that mouse. So you definitely have, and I have conversations with myself, like, okay, am I reading this too deep? Because I've been called the egg in my family. I crack easily, and I have to know that maybe I am being a little sensitive, a little more so than what other people are. But I'm okay with that. It doesn't take away from me being okay with me being sensitive, but I have to look at things from other people's perspectives. But all in all, I do check out. Like I'm not, I haven't called my parents on birthdays because unfortunately that was a day I needed to check out, and then I'll call and be like, so XYZ happened, love you, happy birthday, and bye. So, but checking out, having conversations with myself, and definitely letting other people, and even people that I have to be around, whether it's work related, whether it's friends, family. I'm not for it today. I'm here. I'll show up physically because I have to for whatever reason, but I'm not for the shits today.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I'll try some of those.
What I love for 2019, I don't know if you guys you see it. Like 2019, I'm gonna go so hard. Like everything that I do is gonna be I choose me. Like that's my hashtag for 2019. I want to do I choose me events, workshops, because as women, we are not taught properly how to choose us. We're taught how to take care of everything outside of us and how to be that for someone else and how to do and take care and nurture, which is great. But how can I really be anything for anyone else if I'm not being her to myself?
Yeah.
So, I choose me.
We choose you too.
And I chose y'all. So I have another really good question. Mrs. Geik. So, I had this revelation yesterday. Because I don't know. I love to be around people, but I find myself by myself a lot, which is fine. I don't feel lonely, but I just feel wow. And I'm learning my God voice. I'm learning to see God beyond the four walls. I'm really experiencing God in my daily living, and I just think it cracks me up. I'm like, wow, God, that was really you. Wow.
You're talking out loud.
No, I'm so I had this revelation, how we pray and we meditate and we fellowship, and those things are amazing. But I had this revelation, God is really with me all the time because he's in me.
Right.
It's not he's next to me or he's following me. He's with me every day that I get up. And for the first time I had an acknowledgement of he's not outside of who I am. He's inside of me. The mere fact that I can get up and say good morning, it's us speaking good morning. And when I had that revelation, I was like, yo, that means that I can do every and anything because I am you're the source. The source is choosing to abide with me. Oh my God, I got excited.
It's deep though.
So I was like, how can you manifest this today? How can I really see this happening today? Show me something where I know it's really the truth. And I was like, okay. And for me, for him, for God, it's all right. So God's the spirit being inside of all of us, right? And the more that you continue on your life journey and you find out who you are and your purpose, is the more of you acknowledging who he is, right? So I was like, all right, Lord, how can you manifest this? So I can know that I'm not crazy. And it's not just this, this idea in my head, do something. I was like, do something.
Show me.
I was like, show me something. Come on, show me. Come on, it's real. So I'll talk about it because I'm very transparent, but there's something very specific that's going on in my life right now. And I was like, look, I need you to let me know if it's going to be okay. Should I like back out of this? Like, let me know. And so I thought about that. I'm walking to the train station, forgot about it. When I got home from work, like yesterday, like I got this email and, you know, he speaks to me through numbers. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, oh my God. And then it made me check myself because I said it, but I didn't really believe it. Because when it happened, I was like, what? You understand what I'm saying? Like I said it like, oh my God, show me. But there was a part of me that kind of doubted it because when it happened, he was like, no, expect that. You asked, so expect it. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, so that was a long story. So like what part of you, like being amazing, like being an amazing woman, being an amazing mom or entrepreneur, like what part of you can you, like how has God shown you your amazingness, which is as in relation to who he is? Like you knowing that he's inside of you. Does that make sense?
No, it does. I just lean back because that's pretty loaded.
Yeah, relax for this. It's deep. Like how, like, because like I can see the amazingness. Like I can see it. Like I can see the amazingness in each and every one of you, right? But how do you know it for yourself? Like how has God shown up in your life and you're like, yeah, he's pretty dope because of me and who we are together?
That is a really good question.
It's a good. I mean,
because yesterday I had the experience was amazing.
I can say I don't have like blood sisters, right? So I don't have females. You know, we check each other, right? So if you have a sister, that's your first checkpoint. Like
Right.
she'll tell you, no, girl, this, no, this, that, and the fourth. But I've always been like, not that I didn't get along with girls. I just like they do too much. Like they honestly do way too much, and I felt like in a former life I was like a dude, like, you know, like y'all do way too much. But I've always like put myself in situations where there are other females to build me up. I'm in a sorority. Yeah, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was just like, you what? Like how did you do that? But it was always like he put these women in my life to kind of reflect, and then I can throw things back out at them, where sometimes men are not open to like exploring their feelings and intimacy in a way that women are just like, I will just break down right here, and you be like, girl, okay. And I felt like I was always that person to go, okay, break down. Now how can we build that back up? So for me, God, however pronoun he, she, it, whatever, has always put women in my life that kind of check me, B, allow me to be source. So being source meaning if I want this room to be warm, I'm source, I'm warm. If I want everyone to be happy, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? So it's always putting me in a space to be source, to bring in the things that I want to see in the world. And a lot of people who've helped me see that I bring community wherever I go have been women. Luckily for me, they've been black women because I really like my other counterparts. Oh, man. But they've been, you know, it's a trust thing at the end of the day. And I'm glad that I've been able to trust the women that have not been placed in my life on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
through
Like
bloodline.
through bloodlines.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows if I had sisters, they probably wouldn't even be here right now because I'd have killed a couple of them. But, you know, like all that and being like empathetic, like you said, when women do too much, like I really be like, yo, y'all do way too much. But then I'm like, okay, I can empathize with how your life has been, so I'm not going to judge you in that. But girl, come off the ledge. Bring it back a notch. So, yeah, for me, God shows me that, like, my ability to be there for others, for those people to be there with me and be authentic. Like, that's my thing. Like, when everybody sees me or knows, they're like, yo, you're real. You're 100% real, authentic, and all that. So that's anywhere, in any space. So, I mean, yeah, that's it.
That's beautiful. Was it really that deep of a question?
It was.
It was.
And
I'm still
when we
trying
think
to
of
think,
like
but-
religion, when we think of God and what that means to people, that's a loaded question because it's so powerful.
Right.
And I'm exhaling and inhaling because it's beautiful. And to put it into words, sometimes you can't. It doesn't do it justice. It doesn't do it justice. So I can't even. this is me answering the question if you want to know. But I don't have a specific experience, but I just know that, my walk with God is becoming very strong. I'm being tested in many different ways, and I feel like this is the time where I need to run to him. Run to him and don't run from him.
Right.
And we go through so many different things in our life, and sometimes we say why, and it's like, why not? You're gonna be okay. You just don't know when. And that's the control freak Taurus in me that wants to know when. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna fix you real good. You ain't gonna know when. So I'm also being tested, but I'm also being pushed to trust God even more, believe in his ability, and know that, it's the season of restoration. It's the season of healing. It's the season of renewal. And I'm confident in that. And I'm gonna pass my pen around real quick.
There you go. I'm getting ready to make a deposit.
I'm gonna pass the building fund around.
I'm gonna make a deposit. But I can totally agree with what you're saying as far as like in this season of like as I got older, like when I turned 45 and now I'm 51, and it's like
51.
Yeah, girl, fabulous. Yeah.
All right now, sis.
So basically, it's like you were saying, like the trust and to know where you are. It's like, yeah, I'm here for a purpose, and God is speaking in me and through me, and to just trust what He's saying right now. So if it's time for me to stay still, I'm gonna stay still. If it's time for me to move, I'm gonna move. And that's really making me more focused. It's like I'll shut down from what's around me, and I'll look for that quiet time. I'll look for that intimate time. And a lot of the times that'll happen when nobody is home in the house, and like, or it'll be wee hours in the morning. Girl, when everybody
in the morning, you be like, "What is the rumble up there in the morning?" Oh, she having a moment.
Those are
I'm gonna stay back here.
Honey.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah,
she caught us off guard a couple of times. I was like, "Yo, what's she doing?"
I'm sorry. You know how they talk about the first, second, third watch? Those are, my coach refers to it as, those is Jesus walking hours.
Yes.
Because when people asleep and
Yes.
you up there and you fellowship, like those
Yes.
are like CEO hours.
Yes.
Like in the middle of the night where everybody
Sleeping. Yes.
and you, God be like, wake up.
wake up.
All right, Lord, what?
But what you want
And
to
then
say?
next thing you know, bam, you got all this those are secret.
Those are
secret hours.
Those are the best times.
It is.
So like when everything is quiet and it's still and it's just you and him, and it's like I hear you, and I'm not gonna move without you. So I'm in this time in my life, say I'm not moving without you. I'm not making another decision without you.
That's right.
So I'm trusting you. You tell me to trust you. So now I'm trusting you. And I'm just not gonna move. I'm gonna, when he say go, go. When he say no, no. And I was like, if it's a yes, it's a yes. And then it's not, sometimes we get that no and we be like, oh, come on, God, bro. But it's in my time.
Right.
It's in his time and not mine and not my time. So it's his timing.
And you know what I found out too? I'm sorry. Like, trust. So I'll be like, God be like, yeah, okay, Simone. All right, let's see. So I'm finding out for me that there's a lot of action behind my words. Because I speak very eloquently. And I say a lot of things that sound nice and, like, oh my God, she said that. But now he be like, all right, sweetie, we'll see. So for me, when I be like, Lord, I trust you, the weirdest stuff will happen. I'll be like, what is this?
You said you trust.
Like, you said you trust me, right? But I didn't mean like that. Like, I didn't know you was going to rock my world like that. Like, what? Then he be like, you want to trust me, but you're going to trust me after this.
Right.
And I'll be like, okay, gosh. Well, you was gotta show me something. Like,
Because when you speaking out, he's listening.
yeah, and I'm learning too. Like, sometimes my words for me are not in line with my heart, but there's a process that takes place that makes my words
Line up.
and that line up for me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does.
Because I guess the desire to do certain things is there. And you're like, okay, you don't really mean that, but by 2010, you're gonna get it. And I'm like, oh my God, that long. hurts. No, because people no, being a woman is amazing, but I feel like not taken away from men. Because I always tell this to my girlfriends. Like, God created Adam first. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
But it was Eve who got him to do a little something a little shady. Adam had the whole
Yes,
relationship
yeah.
with God before Eve came, and God answered Adam's prayers, and he gave him his lovely wife, but Eve was the one to make him kind of turn his back on God, right? Let's say, really, right? But that shows you the power of the woman and how we can influence the world.
Right. Absolutely.
You understand? Like, and I don't know how we talking about that.
You brought it
Well,
up.
yeah, we talking about God, and what for me, what defined it, my moment of when I was like, okay, yeah, something is beyond me, is actually after I was caught. I'll use that word, in an attempt at suicide.
Wow.
And I was done. I was done with everything, and my walking up to the scenario that I had created for that moment, I had conversations with God like, look, I've asked, I've done, I've showed up, and I ain't seen you. And in that moment, the last person I would have expected to show up and snatch me back was there. You know, and that for me, and every now and again, I have to visit that moment where I say to myself, you know, this ain't working. Well, okay, yeah, it's not working, but it doesn't mean it won't work later.
Right. Right.
You know, because
Absolutely.
there are things, and that wasn't even, you know, I'm hard-headed. Like I said earlier, I do stuff the way I want, when I want. So I had made another attempt, and a similar situation, you know, I got snatched back. You know, by people who I didn't even knew, you know, understood what my situation was. So for me, it's always, okay, all right, it's not what you want right now. Like you said, it's not in my time, it's in his time.
Right.
So being able to surrender, like,
Totally surrender.
Like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
to totally surrender and say, okay, this is what I would like to happen. And I'm willing to do the work to make that happen. Because we always, you know, we always want stuff right now.
Right.
You know, but being able to say, okay, I'm willing to go through this process. This is my strategy. I'm gonna surrender. I'm gonna open up and be available for alternatives. You know,
Right.
sometimes we want to go this route. We want to get there, but we want to go this route as well.
Right.
And sometimes we got to take route B, which is a better route because he said so, because God said so.
Right.
So that's that total surrender for me. Like, okay, I know you got me, and I'm paying attention. You know, like you said, you be like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. I know you was gonna take me there.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
This was we gonna get ready to wrap up. This was like we're not finished, but we're gonna do like a little. Go ahead.
I'll go quick. So for me, I know it was after I quit my job and I decided to do my business.
And what's your business, sweetheart?
Signature Scents by Hand. So I make all natural, vegan friendly scents by hand.
And they smell good.
And when I made the decision, it didn't make sense. Like when I told my boyfriend I wanted to quit so many times, and he's like, no, don't do it yet. And then there was just one day I was like, why am I still here? I'm not happy. And I quit. And it wasn't until that where I had more alone time. So then I was actually communicating with God a lot more. And I'm like, okay, well, we're in this situation. What are we going to do next? What should I do next? Or, you know, I'm talking to him about all these ideas that I have. Should I move forward with this business? Or, you know, who should I talk to? Who should I network with? Where should I go? And I know that's when it happened. That's when it happened for me, when I quit my job and I literally had so much more alone time because now I'm home by myself. Nobody's home. It's just me and him. So that's when I had to like really face reality and really figure out what's my next move. What am I gonna do next? And that's when my relationship with God became more solid, and it just grew from there.
It sounds like we're all talking about listening to God. Not only just asking for what we want, but listening to Him and letting Him guide and order our steps, which is so important in this journey we call life. Yeah.
I didn't know. Well, this was great. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that came and was a part of it. Because a few people did submit they answered the survey, but when people started to kind of fall by the wayside, I was like, you know what? Whoever needs to come is gonna come. Right. I'm learning that too. Like, it's not about forcing the process. Yeah. Like, whoever needs to be here, it's their time to be here. So I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of the Some Me Time podcast and, talking about all things women beyond our exterior, beyond how we look, beyond our hair, makeup, like really talking deeply about what it is to be a woman. Thank you for sharing your journeys with us. Before we wrap up, I just want you guys to give your name and where you could be found on social media one last time. Tawana, you can go. Tawana. You can go.
Tawana on Instagram at Wana526 and then Facebook Tawana Crawford.
So this is Cabria. You guys can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Cabria Thomas 1, but also make sure you follow my business page for Signature Scents by Hand, and that's on Facebook and Instagram.
And this is O'Ray. I can be reached at amicable_solutions.
And Shalonda, so you can find me on Instagram at ShalondaCMUA.
And Danielle, you can find me at Vision Transformers. And I want to plug really quick, myself and my friend Kiana of Candy's Corner, we're having a children's Kwanzaa Village on December 29th at New Lots Library from 12 to 3. So if you guys are interested, bringing out the family, learning more about Kwanzaa, being able to fellowship, dance, drum, pay homage to our ancestors, you can RSVP on Eventbrite at Children's Kwanzaa Village.
Oh, it's nice.
You gotta have kids to come?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
My kids is grown.
No, you don't have to have a child. It's for children, but we are encouraging the village to come out as well.
Well, I'm a part of the village, so I'll be there. And this is your girl, Simone. That's great. You can find me. I have my YouTube channel up now on Some Me Time. Some Me Time has a YouTube channel. Praise the Lord. And once again, I just want to say big shout out to We Say What They Can't Radio for giving us the opportunity to have this podcast, to speak freely, to share our stories. Thank you to all our listeners. And until next time, guys, see you later.